All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome to DLMPA cohort number 20. Yeah, that deserves a woot. It's kind of shocking to me that we are up to cohort number 20 now. We did a smart thing a few years ago, and we synced up the numbers of the cohort with the year number when you start. I don't know why that didn't occur to the department years ago, but and so we're now on number 20. My name is Dave Powell. I am the director of this program. I've been director of the DLMPA program since 2005. You can believe that. So this is my 15th year. Actually, January is my anniversary of my 15th year leading up this program. Started out with cohort number 5. So program's been around since 1997. So it's been around for a long time. NASPA accredited. We'll get to all that information in a few minutes and why the program is so wonderful. And you should be happy to be in the program. We're happy to have you in the program. I'm also the department chair for our stateside program, and I guess overall I'm in my 8th or 9th year. You lose count after a while as department chair. So that is me. We have a program for you today that is scheduled to go until noon. I doubt we will go that far. I assume that we will probably be done at least a few minutes earlier, let you get out and enjoy your beautiful Saturday. Let me start out with a few introductions before we get to the presentations. I will let you know, though, that we are recording this session on Zoom, and I believe everything is working swimmingly so far. So what we'll do is when this session is over, I will get the file with the recording to Jenny, and then Jenny will send it out to you. So if you miss anything live and in person right now, you can always go back and watch the video a little bit later on. Also running a Zoom session in this morning will allow you to see Zoom, and so you can see what the software is that we use and kind of how to navigate yourself around in the software. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone today. But let me introduce a few people first. First person to introduce is your instructor for PPA 500, and that is Professor Dina Berg. She's in the back right there. Dina will be your first instructor in the program, so you'll get to know her very well in a couple of weeks. Dina has been teaching the DL program for several years now, and she also teaches in our stateside program. For DL, she teaches your introductory class, your 500 class. She also stateside teaches that course and teaches nonprofit and grants administration and a whole bunch of good stuff. Whenever we need her, she's always there for us. So you'll get to talk with her a little bit more later on the session today, and she'll introduce you to the 500 class, some of the assignments she'll be doing, and kind of give you a little primer on what you'll be doing in your first course. Matt Reimers, just behind her back there in the very back of the room. Your valet parking attendant for the morning. Matt is our, what are you now, a program developer? Is that okay? Matt kind of does it all, so it doesn't really matter what his title is, but so he's the program manager, developer here in the College of Professional and International Education. Did I get that right? There you go, CPI. Yeah, since I've been at Long Beach now, I'm finishing up my 19th year, and I think we've gone through, your college has gone through 4 or 5 different name changes. Yeah, you used to be UCES, and then you were CCPE, and now you're CPI. CPI handles a lot of the administrative aspects of our program, so we partner with CPI in delivering the DLMPA. One thing you'll learn as you go through the program, that different partners in the program have different responsibilities. So in the Graduate Center for Public Policy Administration, we're the academic arm of the program. So for me, for Jenny, we will handle those academic issues you might have. And so if you have an issue with an instructor, or what courses we're going to be offering to you as pre-selected electives, or any academic types of situations, you come to us with those. The more registration-oriented logistics and all those types of things, that's handled by CPI. So they kind of handle the administrative aspect of the house. We handle the academic end. So Matt will be coming up in a few minutes, not right now, but a few minutes, and he'll walk you through the registration process and do all those logistical elements that he is so good at doing. Let's see, we also then have, we're lucky to have Joanne Hahn from the Office of Financial Aid, so thank you for being with us today. Joanne is going to take you through financial aid issues. If any of you have loans or something like that, She'll be able to answer all your questions. We have found that it's very, very useful to have a financial aid expert with us during these sessions. We, in the department, we don't handle any financial aid types of things. We leave it to the experts in the Office of Financial Aid. So thank you, Joanne, for being here today. Adam Mitchell is not going to be with us physically, but he will be with us through a video. He works in ATS, Academic Technology Services. So they provide support for our Zoom sessions and for Beachboard. And if you're new to Long Beach, the system we use for housing our classes is called Beachboard. It's really Blackboard, but since we're Long Beach, we're all fancy and we call it Beachboard. It's the same thing. But ATS provides all that type of technological type of support. Adam won't be here, but he did provide a video, and I'll show you that video a little bit later on today. And that video, along with resource sheets, will be shared with you in case you run into any technical issues. We've been using Zoom now as our delivering platform for probably about 2 or 3 years. It's a very user-friendly, very easy platform. I don't anticipate you'll have a lot of technical issues, but it's always good to have Adam and his cohorts over in ATS to help us out. And then last and certainly not least, you already know Jenny. I'm sure you've met Jenny in the back of the room there. Jenny is our program coordinator for the DMPA program, and so she's the one you're communicating with during your admissions process and for any questions on applications. She really is your go-to person whenever you have to interface with the department with this program. So thank you, Jenny, and thank you for setting today up. And Jenny's always responsible for putting together the orientation sessions. And so thank you very much, Jenny, for everything that you do. And we'll embarrass her a little bit more later on, too, when we talk more about how wonderful she is. And before I forget, because I always forget every single year, and I remember it this year, Jenny, thank you to the 49er shops. You got your swag bag when you came in. That swag bag is courtesy of the 49er shops. Jenny's done a wonderful job working out a relationship with the 49er shops, so they will provide this for us at each of our orientation sessions. And so a special shout out and thank you to the 49er shops. So I think those are all of our introductions. I don't think I missed anyone. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and bring up our parking attendant extraordinaire, Matt Reimers, and he'll walk you through the registration and enrollment process. Just to let you know, Matt, we're running the Zoom session, so I've got the camera set up, so you got to stay right there in front of the camera. And it's a nice close-up too, so enjoy.
Getting older, your hair's growing from places you didn't think were growing. Beautiful. Well, welcome everybody again. I know we're a little ahead of schedule, which is nice. Did everyone get enough to eat? Everyone need to use a restroom? We're good to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call out names. I'm going to go over the administrative side of the house. As Dr. Powell was saying, Matt Reimers, program manager, program developer, whatever it is you need help with basically during the program administratively. The program itself is hybrid. You're coming here first Saturdays, last Saturdays, everything in between is online. You're more than welcome to come down to campus anytime you want to. You're a student, you're a CSULB student, things of that nature. My job is to keep you off of campus in the sense that we're all here in this program because we're working professional, the non-traditional student, where we're working 9-to-5s type of thing. So it's hard to get down here to campus when things are normally open during 9 to 5 and closed by the time you get down here, sitting through traffic. So my job is to kind of do the legwork for you, cut through that red tape. So it's all about communication. To me, the sooner we know about something, the sooner we can work against university deadlines. Those are really the only things that really hamstring us are the deadlines itself. Type of thing. So we can deal with drops, administrative leaves if necessary. When life happens, we're there for you to help you out as much as we can. We try to do as much electronically now since we are in the future. Scan and email things, get electronic signatures, things like that. So that's the idea with that. But we're here administratively for you. But any question that you have, if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you. That way we cut through the passing the buck type of thing. That's I really don't enjoy doing that. So whenever you guys need help, just reach out to us. That's what we're here for. The main thing we're going to be doing is registration though. Registration, It's going to be changing come fall. We're trying to turn over where students can just register online, like a regular Cal State University student. The thing that hindered the program for doing that is because we run 6-week class sessions and it doesn't jive with the university system. So when it doesn't jive with it, they won't allow our students to register online. By fall 2020, we're hoping to do it where we'll hand out permission numbers to y'all. Then it's on you to go ahead and register for the class and pay for that class within 24 hours and from the convenience of your home, which is a lot easier. Now, how we're going to do it until then is going to be kind of the old school way. It's going to be the way where I process all the registrations for you all. So what I'm going to do is pass out registration forms. Beyond that, there's a little information sheet about the campus, the services. I'm going to walk away now and hand these out. Paul, beautiful. And then if you have any questions, there's a little sheet on the back of it. It kind of goes over our service and stuff, but I'll go over the process once I get these out. You'll see that there's 2 classes on there. Now, I have to say, if you're in financial aid, you have financial aid. Right on there, financial aid, where it says other, right, financial aid. And that way I know, because for financial aid students, you have to get registered into both classes every semester. Now, the funds won't be dispersed until that second class starts, but at the beginning of the term, we need to register you in both of those classes. So it's important that you write down there if you're financial aid. If you're not, we have Danny come up with financial aid office. You'll have questions. I can update it. Classes don't start, the first class doesn't start until the 22nd of February, I believe. So we have plenty of time to get things going. Now, there's also, I put 2 classes on there for that reason. It's a lot easier when I was Xeroxing to just slice one off if I need to. If you're paying out of pocket or getting tuition reimbursement or paying out of pocket, something like that, you can just register into one class at a time. You don't have to register for both. Now, if you want to, you're like me, you have the money and you just want to get it out and be done with it, you can pay for both classes at a time. If you only want to pay for one class, just scratch off that second class, the PPA 555 right now. If you have payment for it, we can take the payment for it. You can write down your credit card information. If not, don't worry about it. When I get back Monday, I'm going to enter these into the system. Then I'm going to follow it up with an email that you're going to get saying, hey, I've registered you in the class. You have this time to call. You call this number, and things of that nature. So it's any way you want to set it up like that. But if you do have financial aid, please write at the bottom under other that it is financial aid. Or if you have any other type of like GI bill or anything like that, third-party payment, let me know, because you're not going to be paying out of pocket. If you want to pay today, again, you can provide your credit card information there. If not, not a problem. Like I said, Monday, we're going to get you registered. I just want to know what classes I want to register you into. If you're okay with 2, then leave the 2. If you just want to do one at a time, which I probably do, I do just cross out that other one. We'll go find that. I'm going to go back reading off names. Kenneth? That one? Sir? Baki, Erica Carter, Costin, Stephen, we're right up there. Andrew Farr, Vanessa Garrett, Lewis, Evelyn Hernandez, my first Evelyn. We got 3 Hernandezes in this program. I like it. Jennifer, Joshua. You don't have to fill out any of your personal information on there. As long as the campus ID number is good to go, we're good to go. That's what I use. Regine, Jeremy, Jillian, Angela, Mary Wang is not here. Emily, Maria McLaren. Adam, Crystal,
Right.
Brianna, Alan, hello. Dahlia Ortiz. Okay, Kathy.
Yeah, I did.
Front. And of course, and Esther. And Hector. Lastly is Talisa. And that should be everybody, right? I know. You guys like this one? All right, so how it's going to work is every semester, as you know, you're going to be taking, for each semester, you'll be taking 2 classes at a time. They're consecutively. So you'll take 1 6-week, you have about a week break, and then you get into your next 6-week session. So how it goes is a week before the classes begin, I will go ahead and register everybody appropriately as needed, however they let me know. Financial aid, you'll get registered for both. You want both, we'll register you into both. You can pay for both at that time. If you want to do one at a time, we'll just register you one at a time. I keep record of that on my spreadsheet next to your name of how you want to be registered. So once I do that, I'll get the batch of registrations. I'll submit them to our registration office, Student Services Center. They will go ahead and process. Once they let me know you've been enrolled, I will go ahead and send out a mass email to the group, letting you all know the step-by-step instructions of what to do next. It's already in there. You have the phone numbers to call, the class information, things of that nature. So that's done that way. Again, come fall 2020, the registration process might change a little bit, but we'll notify you of what that new process is and what the new steps are in order to process, because it's going to be more for you guys to be able to do yourselves at your convenience, type of a thing. Financial aid will still handle that because you need to be registered into the 2 classes at a time. So it's pretty simple. It's cut and dry. I fill out like I did today. I fill out the registration forms for you all. Then I submit them, and then I email the group and let them know, hey, it's time to register. It's time to make payment for the classes, things of that nature. Now, the second piece of paper behind there kind of gives you just some of the services that CPI and our staff offer. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or give me a ring. Email is the fastest way I can respond, type of a thing, but don't hesitate to call either. Again, my job is to assist you guys. You have enough going on as working professionals to have to deal with coming down and jumping over the hurdles of the university standards. So our idea is to just push it down together, type of thing. So that's what we're here for. It's all about communication. Biggest thing in terms of communication, you'll get a lot of email notifications from the university because you are a university student. Not all of them are going to apply to you. I would say probably only maybe 10% are going to apply to you. If the message is coming from the university itself, not to ignore it, but most of the time they're working on a different thing. It's the emails that are coming from me that you're going to want to pay attention to. If you have a hold on your record, something of that nature, it's not allowing us to register you, you'll hear from me saying, hey, this is a specific hold that needs to be taken care of at this time. But if you have any questions, you get something from the university, because some of them are kind of scary. It's like, you'll be dropped or whatever. No, no, no. Again, that's for the state side, not for our self-support program. We run on different things. So some of them might be alarming, especially at the onset. But if anything does alarm you with that, again, forward me over the email and ask the question, Matt, does this concern me? Like I want to say 90% of the time, it's not going to concern you. But at least you'll know. And it won't be as scary once you're going through the program. You'll see stuff. But it's a lot of informational stuff that the university will send out because you're in the database, because you are a student. So you're receiving all their communications as well. But when they come from CPI, those are the ones you really want to pay attention to for myself. And obviously from the instructors in the program and Jenny are going to be the big ones you really want to pay attention to. Now, with regards to IDs, you can have an ID card. There's a $5 charge, so you might as well have an ID card every semester that you register. It's not per class, it's just per semester that you're registering into. So you register for 2 classes in the semester and you get charged $5. You only take 1 class semester, you're getting charged $5. Now you can do couple of things with the ID card. On the registration form itself, on the bottom or the top or wherever, If you don't care that your picture's on the ID, you just want a pictureless ID card, just have an ID card with the university logo on it, that's fine. You can write that on there. When I get in on Monday, I'm going to work with the ID card services, send them over my list of names, have that group of cards ready for your first day of class on the 22nd. Now, if it's something where you want to have your picture on it, that's good. The first day of class, the ID card services is open. It's in the bookstore now, and it is open on Saturdays till 4 p.m. So if you want your picture on it, you can go up and do that. What you can do is you should already be in the system on there, but if they have any questions and you want to picture one, what I can do is scan you your registration form. So they could show as a receipt that, yes, I am an actual student, because sometimes they might, but your information, as long as you provide them your ID number, should show in the system that you are a current student. But that's something you can do your first day of class on lunch break, if you so wished. If you don't care, you want a pictureless ID card, again, just write that on there, because I'm going to be picking up the forms when I'm done with this. Write on there that you want a pictureless ID card. I will request that. They'll be ready for you on the first day of class. What good is it to have an ID card? I figure with the hey, it gives you some benefits, some discounts. Again, you are a student here. You can then access the library, and not only access the library, but rent stuff from the library, check things out. Because again, you're a student, you can use software. There's going to be software discounts, even if you don't use it for the program itself. Some people like computers. So if they get a discount on something, they might take advantage of it. I believe during the school year, do they still have the TAP program? Right, just during the school year, you could take public transportation for free within the city of Long Beach, just during when regular semesters are going. But you can go to all the sporting events. Got the Pyramid basketball, volleyball. We got the national champion men's team 2 years in a row. We got the dirt bags off campus. You can get into there for free. The Norton Simon Museum in Pasadena, you can get them for free. I still use it. Because I can always say I'm a master's student. Doesn't matter how old I am. So I think there is a real advantage to having it. You feel a little bit more attached to the university itself too, because again, you guys are a student. So I've been rambling a little bit. Are there any questions about the registration process? Anything administratively? Yes, of course.
If there's a correction on this form, should we just make?
Yeah, if there's any corrections you need on that form, just make directly on the form itself. Like I said, if you want to pay today, you can. If not, don't worry about it. We're going to go back and process, like I was saying, I'll process your registrations. Once you're enrolled, I will go ahead and send out a group email with the step-by-steps of what you need to do, what you've been enrolled into, what the cost is, and how you need to process that payment, type of a thing. Yes, sir.
So if we do choose to only pay for one class at a time, will you automatically go ahead and send us this form once again?
I will do it exactly. So again, if you are only taking the one class, cross out 555 for me. That's going to indicate to me when I go to my list to start seeing how students are paying, whether it's GI Bill, financial aid, one class at a time, two classes at a time. I need to know so that when it comes time for me to submit registrations, that I know who's doing what. At least for the time being. Like I said, the process could change. It's very early stages for that, but we're hoping to get everyone to the online registration system like everybody else type of a situation, regardless of if the program is a semester length or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks. So getting with that. But yes, if it's just one at a time, then when it comes up for the second class, I'll do the same exact thing a week prior to the class starting. I will submit all those enrollments that still need to be, and then you'll be notified accordingly. Those who've registered for 2 or have financial aid will not get the second notice because you don't need it because you're already registered properly. Yes, sir. And then over here.
I'm sorry.
No.
We just need to financial aid. Can we hang on to this? I don't know if I have an award yet or not, but can we just wait to determine how we're going to do the? Basically, I just need to be notified, so that's fine. As long as I'm notified of how students are registering, because I'm the one processing the registrations, then I need to know. So if that's something where you need to hold on to it, that's fine. I'll just make a note on my thing that you held on to it and to follow up with you, because I can always create a new one. It's not like I can print off something and put your ID number on there again. So yeah, by all means, because like I said, I know there's probably some of you where it's like, am I getting it? Am I not getting it? I don't know. I don't want to put it down and then not get it. So don't worry about it. We have until the 22nd, I believe. So really the 21st, because y'all need to be in there by the 21st that we have access. Because a lot of times when things happen, it takes 24 hours for the system to get you in.
So if you register on a Monday, your access won't be ready until that next Tuesday, 24 hours after that you've done that.
So with email communication, do you send the email to our personal email or the house state?
You know what? I've always sent them to the personal emails, and I know now you all are getting the student.chob.edu. I can send it to both. I know they're trying to gear us to that, but in the past, I've always sent it out to individuals' personal emails. Their emails, it's really actually 90% Gmails now. No Yahoos like me. Trying to think of the other ones. Yeah, usually not. So usually I send them, if you're fine with your personal email that we have in the system, then we'll use that. But whatever way you want to be communicated with, you let me know and I'll communicate with you that way. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Fun stuff, huh? Fun stuff.
I do have a question. So if you're using GI Bill, is Joanne going to be able to answer that? Because I'm not sure.
I don't know financial aid. Oh, yeah, she's getting me this slide. Yeah, she's like, I can do it. Yes, she will cover that for you
Okay.
when in her session when she gets. That's why we're so happy to have her here, someone financial aid, because it gets a little bogglesome, if you will. It's not as straightforward as you think it is sometimes. So it's fantastic that she can be here to answer those questions for us.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if the GI Bill is going to be able to cover just one course.
Gotcha, 1 course, 2 courses. Then beyond that, we can get with with the Veterans Association Affairs here as well beyond that. But I think you're in good hands with that. Anybody else?
I'm sorry, I think you covered this, but
No.
if our campus ID number is right, we don't have to worry about filling out the rest, right?
No. When I do it, I just fill out your campus ID number, the date, the course information, because everything in there we already have. It's already in the system itself, in the database. So that's good on that. All right. I'm trying to think if that's it. I think that's pretty much about it. So if you want, I can come by and pick up your registration forms and we'll get on to the next piece. We're good to go. And then my contact information, Jenny will have that. She hasn't already given it to you. And we'll take it from there. Beautiful. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So like I said, just let me know how you want to do the registrations. And I'll pick these up in the middle of the next break. So just write on there, if you want picture list, write on their picture list. If you know you have financial aid already, put financial aid. If you're holding on to your registration form, let me know you're holding on to your registration form. If you're paying for both classes, keep both classes on there. If you're paying for one class at a time, cross out 555. Like I said, payment's not due today, so I just need to know how you all are going to register. But if you have to do that between Jenny's presentation and mine, let me know. After she's done, we'll take a little break and I'll walk around and pick up the rest of the form.
So if we're not gonna pay for it today, just leave it blank then.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it blank and I'll come on for you on Monday. Yeah, just leave it blank. We don't need to pay it right now. So, like I said, if something you wanted to, we can handle it. If not, don't worry about it.
All right, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. And you're pretty much right on time, too. You're very impressive. Now I'll turn over to Joanne, talk about financial aid issues. She has some slides to share with you, and the floor is yours.
Yeah. All right, so as the doctor mentioned, my name is Joanne. I'm a financial aid counselor at our financial aid office, now financial aid and scholarships. As of this academic year, because we decided to merge two because it only makes sense. Okay. So today we're going to go over the application process, the types of financial aid you can get, which would include the GI Bill, the loan criteria, because that is basically what you're eligible for. Any additional steps that applies to the loans, disbursement, which you all want to know, when am I getting my money? The satisfactory academic progress to keep your financial aid, the cost of the program, and the contact with our office. Okay. Feel free to interrupt in case you want to clarify anything. Any questions I would answer after the presentation so we can get over as much as information as we can today. No, I'm sorry, I'm so short.
There you go.
Oh, there I am. Okay, so there's going to be 3 applications that you will be completing for your entire program. The 2019-2020 FAFSA, which currently applies for this current, what we call semester, for you guys is the most recent session. The 2021 FAFSA is for the next upcoming year, which applies after July of this year. The 2021, which will be the last stretch of your program. Okay. Now, I know finance is a very taboo subject, but it is a subject that everyone should be well aware of. Not everyone is capable of affording their classes. I did spot check a few of you. Not many of you have applied for financial aid. That is a good indicator to me that you're capable of funding your program, and this whole presentation would not apply to you. But if it does, and you feel that you were waiting on for a sign to apply, this is your sign. Okay, you want to complete at least the first application before June 30th. That's the last day that they're having the application available. After that, not because the school can't apply, but because it's not available. Okay. Every year, October 1st is the release date for the next academic year. Now, if you noticed, the last term, your last stretch is actually available this October. So you need to complete the first two now. In October, your last application. That's how quick your program is running. Okay. So what type of financial aid are you eligible for? So there is unsubsidized loan. This is what you are filling out when you complete your FAFSA application. This is offered to you because it's non-credit based. Okay. The annual limit that you can get per year is $20,500. Whether you need it or not, that's just offered to you. It's 6.08 fixed interest rate. It is high, but maybe not as high as any private loan that you're familiar with. Now the interest rate changes every July. So the current one for the 2019-2020, that's the interest rate. When July comes, your 2021, it's gonna change. We don't know how much. It did fluctuate 0.01 last year. I don't know how much it'll change this year. And they keep 1% to process your loan. Okay. Then there's also the Grad Plus loan. This is only in addition to the unsubsidized loan. If you have gone to school for many years and have taken loans for many years, you might have exhausted your eligibility for the unsubsidized loan because the unsubsidized limit is $138,500 your lifetime. Undergraduate, anything after your undergraduate. Okay. So you would consider the Graduate Plus loan. The only thing with this one is that you do have to apply because it is credit-based. They do run your credit, and you will apply with the Department of Education. Now, the amount of eligibility you can borrow per year is up to your cost of attendance, which I'll go over later in the slides. Again, this is credit-based. So I do urge that when you are looking at your eligibility, you want to first reach and look for the unsubsidized loan before you consider the Graduate Plus loan. Fixed interest rate at 7.08 is also 0.01 difference since the previous year. It will also change for the next year. They do keep 4% of this to process your loans. Private loans, you'll notice I don't have any information because we are a federal and state funded school. We're a public institution, so we don't work with any private lenders. But if you are familiar with a bank or anyone that you know of that lends money and have way lower interest, feel free to look into that aspect as well. Okay. Now the loan criteria. What do you need to be in order to be considered for the loans? You have to be a U.S. citizen and permanent residence. You'll notice right away for our lovely dreamers, they're not eligible for any loans. Maybe one day in our lifetime, we'll get to see the opportunity that they will have the same opportunities that we have. You have to have a valid social security number, not a working one. You register with a selective service. This is all for all the males. Be admitted and enrolled into the courses that are required for your program. So not taking any fun yoga classes, but classes that you need to complete this program. Okay. You have to be enrolled at least half-time. For masters, it's 4 units. Okay. You have to have a high school diploma or recognized equivalent and maintain satisfactory academic progress, which we'll go over those criteria. Okay. So additional steps once you decide to accept the loan. You don't have to accept them, but if you do, there are going to be additional steps that you'll need to take. One being you have to complete the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. In case you forget after this presentation, when you accept it on our portal, we'll prompt you. It says, hey, you accepted the loans. These are some additional items you need to do. And in case you also want to skip our prompt, it's going to be on your to-do list on your right-hand side of your My CSULB. okay? And the entrance counseling is for you to understand the loans. Department of Ed wants you to see the consequences when you borrow their loans. Master promissory note, promising that you're gonna return the money to them. And if you think this is enough things to do, Department of Ed decided to notify us within the last 1 to 2 months. You also need to do the informed borrower tool. This is similar to the insurance counseling. The insurance counseling and master promissory note, you do it one time, and it lasts for 10 years, for as long as you have consistently borrowed loans for the following years. The informed borrower tool, the IBT, you have to do it every single year that you are borrowing your loans. So every single year that you accept a loan from us, you have to complete it. It's similar to insurance counseling, but a reminder. Hey, you're continuing to borrow loans, remember the consequences. Also remember, your repayment doesn't start until after you graduate or fall below half-time. Okay. The website, studentaid.gov. I do want you to be familiar with this website just because over the years, Department of Ed has merged every website that they have to this one link. So what used to be the FAFSA.ed.gov, what used to be studentloans.gov is now studentaid.gov. It's merged into one. And they did buy out every website that potentially could be financial aid just so that students don't have to apply and pay for a free application for federal student aid. Okay. I did put a blurb in there for verification. Now, all these steps are only if you decide to accept the loan. Not likely will a graduate student be selected for verification. What verification is, Department of Ed likes to randomly select students. Not because they think you did the application wrong, not because they don't believe your application, but because they want to monitor their funds. They want to be sure the information you provide is verified. And how they verify it, they give us a job to verify for them, right? They want us to verify your taxes, the people in your household, maybe even your citizenship status, anything that they flag, they want the school to collect documentation for and verify for them. Not likely you guys will get selected, but in case you do, we notify student almost immediately after you complete your application. And we do give some time. It doesn't limit to you to get any aid. It just gives you enough time to complete it before you begin your classes. Now this is the slide I want everyone to look at. And if you have your list of courses, I do see some of you have it. If you want to take notes, feel free to. This is when everyone will call in asking, when am I getting my money, right? So financial aid releases their money 2 times a year. Your program runs in sessions, very different than our traditional programs that runs in semesters. What the university has done is that they kind of lump your sessions into these seasons, these semesters. So your first and second class is in this traditional spring semester, right? You notice these red marks, these are the dates that you will get your released aid, okay? So reason being is because you need to be on at least half-time, right? That's the Department of Ed's regulations. A student has to be enrolled in the courses that you need at least half-time. To your first class, 3 units, not half-time. But by the time you start your second class, now you add 3 to 3, you're more than your half-time mark. That's when we're released your aid. So we're released at the first day of your second class. When summer comes around, you'll notice I blocked it out. Reason being is because 3 units. Remember, 3 units, not half-time, you won't have any summer financial aid. But when fall comes around, your 4th class is going to be lumped into our fall session. 3 units again, not yet meeting, but your second class after that, which is your 5th class, will bring you to half-time status, so you get your second disbursement. So 2 times a year, the second class, the 5th class, and it repeats the following year, 8th class and the 11th class. And you'll notice I white out the spring term because we don't have winter term at the university, whether it's traditional programs or non-traditional programs, just doesn't exist in the financial world here. What I do advise students is that if you do see the gaps between and you feel like you need funding to help you pay for your other educational expenses, you're not necessarily worrying about your fee paying because as Matthew mentioned, you're gonna be paying with these waiting on financial aid. But if you do need expenses for travel, for books, for anything else, I do suggest students hold on for some of those excess funds. So when you get your disbursement on the second payment, you hold on to some of that funds to help you through summer. So if you get second disbursement, you hold on to some of that funds to help you get through the winter. Okay. And your second summer, your 9th class, I believe it mentions on here, that is a 6-unit class. With that 6 units, now you're more than half time. You do get it for that summer. But with summer aid, not necessarily you're getting any more loans. You're just getting what you didn't use in the previous fall and spring. Okay. And your last session that you're here, the 13th class, unfortunately is only 3 units, therefore no disbursement. Okay. Any questions on this one? It's a little tricky. So satisfactory academic progress. Now that you have your aid, you want to maintain the loan's eligibility. Maintain your loan eligibility. This applies for any financial recipients throughout the university, not just our non-traditional programs, for our traditional programs as well. Department of Ed wants us to make sure that although we're giving some money to aid the student, that they're also doing well in their education, right? And how they monitor that. Every school that you go to, there's these 3 criteria. How the university goes about it is maybe different. So the first criteria, you do have to have a minimum GPA of 3.0 for your master's. The pace of 67%. By pace, what it means is that it wants to be sure those that you've actually complete courses over those that you try to complete, right? So if this is your first and second session, so say your first session, you ace that class with flying A, but then somehow you decide to withdraw from that second class. Guess what? 3 out of 6, 50%. You're no longer meeting that 67% pace. So we will give you a warning. Hey, it looks like you didn't meet all of the criteria. Doesn't mean that you didn't meet the other 2. It just means you have to meet all of them and you didn't meet all of them. So you have that following term to make up for it. Okay. Lastly, maximum time frame, which wouldn't apply to many of you because you're in a cohort and you have registered courses that are set for you. But many times some students might take additional courses outside of the program, which they are not necessarily restricting you from taking them. But if you are supposed to take 100% to graduate from here, we're still giving you 50% more buffer room to take those fun classes or those prereqs that you had needed to take that you didn't get to take before the program. You can take them. So if 30 units is what you're required to complete for the program, then you have 45 units of a time that we're allowing to help pay for your classes. Okay. So you have to meet all 3, not 1 of the 3, not 2 of the 3, all 3. So anytime you don't meet at least one of them, you'll get notified. So it runs per semester. We run the satisfactory academic progress after the fall semester, so it'll be around January, and then the spring term it's around June, and then we run one more time around September for all the summer courses. So that's the same for every student. Your financial aid will get held until we actually run the grades, so we have to wait for university to recognize your grades first. Now the cost, this is on your college website. It's $500 per unit. Unlike our traditional students, they have set particular classes. Yours is $500 per unit, $1,500 per course, which is about 3 units per course, and $19,500 for the total cost of your program. As I mentioned before, if you have run out of the unsubsidized loan, you can borrow the Graduate Plus loan up to the cost of attendance. So the $19,500 isn't the cost of attendance. That's how much you're being charged to pay for the program. The cost of attendance is the budget the university has built in assumption that's how much you'll be spending when you're coming here. So it includes things like the room and board, the books and supplies, travel, transportation, your loan fees, and any personal expenses. We're not charging you for personal expenses. We're not charging you for room and board. So that's why I'm not listing a cost of attendance, because all of you might have different costs of attendance depending on your living situation. Whether you're living off campus on your own, you're living with your parents, or somehow you manage to get dorms here, which is not likely that you would have. Okay. So once you enroll into your courses, and if you applied for financial aid, if you click on view my financial aid on your MyCCOB, you'll see something that says cost of attendance. That's your budget that we have given you for the year. You can fit as much loan, scholarship, any other help that you can get within that budget. Nothing more than that, just up to that budget. And We do have some resources. Over the years, we have developed what would be called a Beach Central. This houses enrollment services, kind of like admissions and records, and financial aid, aside from the fiscal office. So although financial aid is to help you go to school, we're not the ones billing you. This would be the Student Financial Services Office. They're the ones that you can acquire in terms of any billing that you see on your accounts, and then Matthew works with them probably more directly. Okay. If you decide to come during the weekday, during your maybe time off, we do have something called Join the Queue. So we're no longer in a physical line that you're waiting out there looping through the building. You can join yourself in this virtual line while you're driving here. And it'll tell you in the next 15 minutes, you're next in line, so you can make your way here. We are in Brotman Hall. We're not open on the weekends, but our phone line's available Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And we do have the websites as well as our direct line on there. Okay. Any questions?
If we are, if you take a loan, does the university automatically apply that towards our tuition balance on our behalf?
For the unsubsidized loan, yes. Yeah. Before any excess goes to the student. So remember, the maximum annual limit is $20,500. If you're being charged $500 per unit, there's definitely going to be excess if you're accepting the full amount, which is why when you're having the excess, you can hold on to that some of the funds so that when summer comes around, you can make it by through summer, you can make it by through winter. Okay, so in terms of the GI Bill, which I forgot, if it's a benefit, that's something you want to reach out to the Veterans Office. So there's GI Bills, post 9/11, there's benefits, and there's tuition waivers. Tuition waivers does apply because it works directly through the Student Financial Services to waive any charges you may have. But in terms of benefits, it might be limited because it's state funded, and your program is not state funded, it's self-funded. And what we have offered for your program is federal aid, not state aid. So it's very limited in terms of benefits that you may get. You may want to reach out to the Veterans Office, and they'll be able to give you more information on that. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Does AmeriCorps learning stipends get sent through financial aid too?
Yes, so AmeriCorps is not necessarily like military benefits. They're treated more like scholarships.
Yeah.
So scholarships apply, any type of scholarship would apply. Mm-hmm.
So I just send it through and it goes straight to financial aid?
Yeah, so on your AmeriCorps portal, you'll be able to request for the funds and you'll list Long Beach as a school. So they'll notify us and we just certify how much room you have in your budget. If it fits, we'll approve it and then they'll send it within probably a week or two.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So if we got approved for academic year 1920,
Mm-hmm.
so that award amount just goes to the first two classes.
Yeah.
Right, and then we go 2021 for the.
And then the next disbursement, right.
So then if we got approved for an amount, but we want to accept something less, just enough to cover
Mm-hmm.
tuition, do we do that when we're accepting or is it during disbursement? When?
Yeah, so once you click accept, it'll populate a box that tells you to enter the amount you want.
Okay.
So you just enter less and then you just set the amount.
Okay.
Yeah, but that full amount will disperse at once that you accept.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, so let's say we accept an amount and we would still have to pay for an additional amount.
Mm-hmm.
When would that amount become due, after disbursement or the week before the class starts?
The excess?
No, like we don't accept the full amount, we accept half and the rest is on me, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When would that amount be due, the week before the class starts or after?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
So for traditional students, they have about 48 hours, but for yourself, you're not risking dropping your courses. So as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. You just want to accumulate any late fees. Mm-hmm.
What about state employee waivers?
Unfortunately, no, because it's not state funded, so it won't be able to cover. I know this is a very confusing program because there's actually an MPA program for traditional students. Those are state funded. It's not likely you see me, but
Beautiful. I think that's all for the financial aid portion of it. Now it's our little break time. But in that time, we're going to come around and pick up the time. In the meantime, I'm going to come around, pick up your forms, and then note anything I need to on there. Beautiful. So keep out your
Yeah, the changes are not no longer.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
It started off one way, you end up another.
Got you.
Thank you.
But do you want to do 2 classes or 1 class at a time? Perfect. That's all I need to know. And then the last one with the AmeriCorps. Just put AmeriCorps on there. That's the payment. That good thing. That way I know. No, you can either do that. You can do that, or there's a we can give you e-check. And I'll go back Monday. I'll register everybody. Like the class starts at the 22nd, so you have plenty of time for that. So any questions between now and then that you might not have thought to ask, or I didn't answer anything correctly enough, just let me know and we'll figure it out together. You know what? Let me give you.
It's on the,
I think it's on the.
it's on the resources.
It should be on the resources. Yeah, if you want a picture ID, then you'll just get a picture ID when you come to first class. It was only if you wanted a pictureless ID card that you could pictureless ID card. No, it's fine. So you want 2 classes at a time? That's all I need. Basically, I just need to know how you guys want to be registered. Whether it's third party, financial aid, 1 class, 2 class.
I'm just not sure.
Okay, no problem. As long as we know, we got an idea of,
Okay.
you know, what it is.
So you're repaying now?
No.
Oh.
No, everything won't do be at the same time. You want a picture ID?
No, for sure.
So you want a picture of ID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You want a
yeah.
picture? No.
Oh, sorry, I put no picture as well.
You want pictureless?
Yeah. Well, isn't that the same, no picture?
I guess you're right. It's how I have it in my gun.
I gotcha.
Doing this for 20 years. Are you want to do 2 at a time or 1 at a time?
2, because I think they cover 2.
Gotcha. We go through. Perfect. That's it. That's it. We'll get you 1 at a time. And I know that on your thing that we got 1 at a time. No. Don't worry about your social. That's what your ID number is now. So you never have to get out your social security number. You shouldn't be on this because that campus ID number is your ID number. No, not right now. When you start doing it on your own, yes. Oh, wait, verification. You can do, you should be able to print them off. Thank you. A lot of years ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, I still decide for it. Yeah, I mean, I just get back to.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm doing that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's fine, you can go any other date that you're. It's open on Saturdays. Whenever you have time. You can come during the week if you're able to. So whenever you have time, you come in. Oh, 2 weeks. 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 2 we Oh.
Look at that.
Beautiful, sir.
Yep.
Definitely would do it. All right.
I got, yeah, I parked over there at the airport. I got here like 5 minutes. You got that. It's all right. So,
Trying to get her like 15 minutes early. So I ran with camera.
yeah.
I saw you, I didn't have you on the list, and then I saw it.
It's all right. No big deal.
I'm more showing than doing.
Yeah.
And marketing? No. What we can do is we want to work out.
So,
You know, everything. No, you missed it. That's why they changed the program. The expo work around. That's what Except you want to talk to Jamie and Dr. How with that?
no traffic.
Here's how I know.
Yeah.
I talk it out.
Yeah, but I don't know how to work on it.
Yeah, I got word. Yeah. You'll pay here. So.
And I would just do whatever I'm currently within 20.
Yeah, you want to do this, you will do, and then you have to wait for this one to come around again next year. This is what, spring, summer, fall, fall. So you have to wait till fall 20.
Okay. If I
You
wanted
don't
to.
need to.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, if I
Okay. All right. That's the whole stress. Yeah.
Oh, mute, I'm sorry. It's not registering it on my place. Not too bad, it's just recorded, so, yeah.
Yeah, but whatever.
I'm like, I know, we got some lights, you know.
All right, everybody, I guess we will get going again. Try and get you done and out of here as soon as possible. As for the remainder of our agenda today, I have a video to show you that, again, is from Adam Mitchell over in Academic Technology Services. As just a really brief introduction to using Zoom. One of the nice things today is that since we're recording this session in Zoom, I realized I didn't pause the recording. So if you go back and watch this, you'll hear the break. So sorry about that. But the nice thing about it, recording it today in Zoom, is that you can actually see what the program looks like. And so I'm going to show you if it works, hopefully, Adam's video. Then after we do Adam's video, I'll just talk really briefly about Zoom, and then I'll bring Professor Berg up to talk about your first class. So let's see if we can get our video to work here.
Hi, and welcome to this brief introduction of the video conferencing tool available here at Boston State called Zoom. Zoom is a powerful communication tool that allows for synchronous communication via live multi-way audio, video, and chat. This is all made possible through the communication sessions Zoom has dubbed Zoom meetings. Zoom meeting organizers, also known as hosts, can also record meetings to be shared and viewed anytime at the user's convenience. Though Zoom has many features, let's take a look at a few brief videos regarding basic use and access from the perspective of you, the meeting attendee.
In this video, we'll go over how to join a Zoom meeting. When receiving a Zoom invitation, you'll see the join link in the meeting invite. Click the link and you'll be prompted to download and run Zoom. A Zoom US launcher.zip file will download. Simply click on the file and you can install a launcher. If the host hasn't started the meeting, you'll see a message stating, please wait for the host to start this meeting. Once the host starts the meeting, the Zoom meeting window will appear where you can join your audio and connect your video. To join your audio, just select Join Audio Conference by computer. This should automatically appear once you join the Zoom meeting. To connect your video, simply select the video camera icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom meeting window. Joining and configuring your audio and video within the Zoom meeting can be quick and easy. If you see the Join Audio icon in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom meeting window, simply select the icon and select Join Audio Conference by computer to join your microphone and speakers to the Zoom meeting. If you're having issues hearing or having others hear you, select Audio Options and test computer mic and speakers. From here, you'll be able to test your speaker as well as your microphone. You can select a drop-down arrow to see the speaker and microphone selected. For video, just select the up arrow and then video settings to check the camera selected.
Video breakout rooms allow Zoom users to easily place meeting attendees into sub-meetings for group discussion, activities, projects, and more. Meeting participants will be prompted to join breakout rooms where they can speak on audio, show their webcams, share screen, and chat as normal. They can also ask for help to send a prompt to the meeting host. Participants can also choose to leave the breakout room anytime to be returned to the main meeting.
Thanks for watching. For more information, please visit our website at csulp.edu/Zoom. If any questions come up, please feel free to email beachboard@csulp.edu.
Okay, so that kind of just gives you a little introduction to what the Zoom environment looks like. I'll talk a little bit later on about exactly how we use it in our program, because I know in the video they said you get an email with a link. Usually what we'll do is our instructors will set up a recurring meeting in Zoom, and that will produce a link, and then we put the link in your Beachboard classroom. So when you log into your class, there'll be the link right there. You click on the link. First time you click on that link, you'll have to download the launcher. Takes 5, maybe 10 seconds. We download the launcher, then your future sessions, every time you click on that link, it'll just open right up for you. Until the instructor starts a session, so if your class starts at 6 o'clock, all your Zoom sessions will be starting at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. If you log in at like 5:45, you'll get that message waiting for the leader or waiting for the organizer. And that means you're into Zoom, you just have to wait for your instructor to actually start the class. But I'll show you a little bit more about that a little bit later on. So without further ado, let me invite Professor Berg up, and then she can talk a little bit about your 500 class, what you're going to be doing, and all those good things. So, Professor Berg.
Thank you. Welcome. Well, this is exciting. I look forward to meeting you again in 3 weeks? I think it's February 22nd on Saturday. So I hope most of you, all of you can make it. We're going to meet at the library. We will meet our librarian and go over research, and I will upload the syllabus by the end of the weekend. So that information will be up there, but we will meet at 10 o'clock on the 22nd at the library. The library doesn't open till 10, so we'll be meeting at 10 o'clock. And at that time, that presentation usually goes for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and then we will talk all about PPA 500 then. So I know a lot of you have been out of school for a long time, so some of you are nervous about getting back into it, and so this is an introductory class. We'll ease you into it, but feel free to reach out to me prior to February 22nd if you have any questions, but we will go over the syllabus that day. The syllabus will be uploaded by the end of the weekend, hopefully by tonight. I'm just putting some final touches on it, so you'll see what the book and the assignments. And I think that's about all I want to go over today because I don't have a syllabus in front of me. But just, yeah, 10 o'clock, February 22nd at the library. We'll meet there, and then we will talk about all the assignments and go over the syllabus and whatnot. So I think that's all I'm going to cover now. Do you have any questions for today? Yeah.
Is it going to be uploaded onto Beachboard?
Yes, it'll be under content on Beachboard. Yeah. Yeah.
Are our classes generally held in this building or different locations on campus each Saturday?
Oh, no, it's...
Yeah, most of the class sessions on Saturdays will be in the CPI building or in the SPA building. So SPA is right over there, that nasty looking building. I hate that building more than you know, but that's where our Public Policy Administration Department is at. Some classes, some weeks you'll be there. More recently though, our classes have been held in the CPI building, which is right next door, kind of diagonally over there. That's a brand new building. It's only been around for less than a year, right? Classrooms in that building are just phenomenal. I know,
They're really-
Steve, have you been in
yeah,
there?
it's
Yeah,
very
they're
nice.
great
Yeah.
classrooms. They're all smart. They put this classroom to shame. So
Mhm.
hopefully we try and get as many of your classes over there in C5.
Yeah.
And then is this parking lot the one we should use if we're commuting just like from home to here?
That's a Ginny. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Nice thing about Saturdays is parking's really easy. On
Yeah.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Good luck
Yes.
Monday through Friday.
Oh, yeah.
The place is a mess.
Yes. Yeah.
Saturday, I'm not gonna be there the first time
Okay.
Is the first session then gonna be the following Monday? It's gonna be on the log,
It will be on Wednesday.
So it's Wednesday.
Yes, I guess, I don't have it in front of me, but I think, yeah, Monday is, you'll be posting, but it won't be that Monday. So, yes, so we'll talk on Wednesday. All right. Anything else? All right, well, if anything comes to mind, you can email me. So all my information should be available. Yes, okay. All right, well, thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you, Professor Berg. Again, I thought it would be good that you could put a name with the face and know who your instructor is. As I said, Professor Berg not only teaches 500 in this program, she also teaches 500 every semester, every single semester in our stateside program as well. So, okay, let me talk to you a little bit about the program itself and give you a little introduction to the program. Let me share the right screen though. So bear with me 1 second. Get this going. Okay. Make sure I can share this one. There we go. Okay. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the program itself, talk about how we deliver the courses, give you a little bit of history on the program. We'll talk about NASPA accreditation and why it's so important that you're in a NASPA accredited program, and just kind of give you that introduction to what we do here at Long Beach and why we do it. So I'll give you a little background on the program itself. We have a stateside program and we have this distance learning MPA program. The stateside program was actually founded back in 1973, and here's a fun fact for you. One of your instructors in this program was actually one of the first instructors in 1973 in the on-campus program. And yes, he is still teaching, and he is still teaching in the DL program. That's Dr. Caprillion, and he offers your negotiating dynamics course. So you'll love that course, but Dr. Caprillion now is going on, if I can do my math, I guess 47 years teaching in our program. So our stateside program has been around a very, very long time. We're one of the larger graduate programs here at the university. And then in 1997, we started this distance learning MPA program. When we first started this program, we were offering our classes from the TV studio using closed circuit TV. It was horrible, absolutely terrible. I started teaching the program in fall of 2001, and it had one-way audio, which means that when you were teaching in the studio, you would have to talk for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then you'd have to stop and say, work site number 1, do you have any questions? And then everyone was crowded at a work site around a little table, watching this monitor, and then they would ask their questions. Then work site number 2, do you have any questions? It wasn't very interactive at all. So when I became director of the program, I pushed the university to let us go online. And so we went online in 2005, and we've been online ever since. Both are on-campus as well as the distance learning programs. They are both NASPA accredited, which means they have national accreditation. We had our last site visit in 2017, and our accrediting period runs through 2023. NASPA accreditation is very important because NASPA is the accrediting body for all master's programs in public administration, public policy, public affairs, for not only the entire country, but for the world as well. And NASPA now has some accredited programs in Italy, in China, in South Korea, really all over the world. So it's important you're getting your degree from a NASPA accredited program. A little bit about the faculty in our program. Now, not all of our resident faculty teach in the DL program. We have a few Luddites on our faculty who don't really like computers all that much, so they don't teach in our DL program. But we have 6 full-time core resident faculty. Of those 6 full-time faculty, 4 of those faculty members also teach in this distance learning program. We are very much interdisciplinary. So I know in looking at your applications that a lot of you come from very different academic backgrounds. Typically in this program, we do get our fair share of political scientists like me. We get historians, we get sociologists, we get psychologists, we get engineers, we get business majors, we get English majors, you name it. We've had probably someone from every single academic discipline at one time or another come into the DL-MPA program. Not only is the student body very interdisciplinary, but our faculty is very interdisciplinary as well. I've listed on the screen there for you the degrees of our faculty members, and so you'll see there are 3 political scientists, of which I am one. We have one person with a PhD in public administration, another one who is an economist. He doesn't teach in the program, but he's an economist. And then Dr. Matthews, who is an organization behavior and theory specialist. And she will be teaching in the program, so you'll get to know her relatively well. Of your courses in the program, I've listed 12. You know, you have 13 courses. Your 697 is 2 sections. And so you take 6 units of 697. So a total of 13 courses, 12 different courses. Of those 12 different courses, 10 of those 12 courses in this program are taught by faculty who teach in the resident program, the on-campus program as well. So a lot of overlap between the 2 programs. There needs to be overlap between the 2 programs because both programs are nationally accredited by NASPA. So as you know, you have a 39-unit requirement for your MPA degree. So we have 3-unit courses. Again, that it works out to 13 courses, but your 697 is really 6 units. But every other class is 3 units. You have 7 core courses in the program. So you have PPA 500, which is Professor Berg's course. So you'll start with that one in 3 weeks. That is, as she said, your introductory course. Now, just to let you know, we have changed PPA 500 a little bit. In the past, PPA 500 was what I called the buffet class. It was like a sampler plate. So every week you would talk about a different core area in the MPA program. We changed that up a couple of years ago because our students are so interdisciplinary. We realize that we have people in the program who may not have social science undergraduate degrees, and that's great. That's absolutely fine. But we also realize that there needs to be some predicate built for American government, because it may have been many, many years, or you may have never had an American government class. So much of what we do in public administration is done in the environment of American governance. So it's important that we kind of have that same baseline starting point. So we reoriented the 500 class so that you'll start out with principles of American government will kind of be your first topics after your library orientation. But we will still cover the main areas in the program as well. So you look at budgeting, you look at HR, you look at org theory, you look at policy, you look at program evaluation, but all within the context of what it means to be a public administrator in American government. So that's your 500 course. In your 500 course, and Professor Bergdan mentioned this, but in your 500 course, you will do, one assignment you'll do is what's called the initial skills self-assessment. I think Jenny's already provided that to you. Yeah, so you should have that. The initial skills self-assessment is an assessment document. So what you'll do in that initial skills self-assessment in your 500 class is there are 3 parts to it. The first part of the initial skills self-assessment, you will give us an ordinal ranking about how much you know in each of the main areas of the program. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you know, or how much experience do you have in budgeting, or how much experience do you have in organizations, or in human resource management? So the first part of the initial skills self-assessment is real quick and easy. It's just an ordinal ranking. In the second part, we ask you to give us a very brief narrative about your experience in the areas of budgeting, HR, org theory, policy, and program evaluation research methods. So just a couple of sentences telling us what experience you have. So for instance, a few years ago in the DL program, we had someone who worked at MTA and he managed the capital budget for MTA. So he was managing an over $500 million budget. He was solely responsible for creating the budget and managing the budget. He had a lot of experience in budgeting. In that exact same cohort, we had other students who had never done any budgeting work before other than balancing their personal checkbook. That's fine. Our program accommodates both backgrounds. But what we want in this initial skills self-assessment is we want to get an idea of what your experience is so that we can kind of tailor your learning to what your previous experience is. So in part 2, just brief explanation of what your experience is in those 5 areas. Then part 3, a very open-ended question, what do you want to get out of the MPA program? And why are you here? And what do you hope the MPA program will provide you with to help you in your career? The nice thing about that initial skills self-assessment is there are no right or wrong answers. It is an honest assessment of where you are when you enter the program. So you'll do that initial skills self-assessment as one of your assignments in 500. Then in PPA 697, which you will take near the end of your program, not at the end, but near the end of your program, you will redo that in what we call a final skills self-assessment. So when you're ready to leave the program, you have your initial skills self-assessment. This is me coming into the program. Your final skills self-assessment. This is me as I leave the program. And you can do an honest assessment of how your skills have progressed, what skills and theories and concepts you have acquired during your time in the DLMPA program. So let's keep that in mind, and we give you that initial skills self-assessment today so you can kind of take a look at it so you can hit the ground running when you get into your 500 class. Another core course you'll be taking, the second course you have in the program is PPA 555, Public Budgeting and Finance. That course is being taught by Dr. Scott Williams. Dr. Williams has his doctorate in public administration. He actually finished that about a year and a half ago. And he has been a finance director at several cities in Southern California. So he's the perfect person to offer the budgeting course. He has the academic chops, if you will, and he also has the practitioner skills of over 30 years working in the area of public finance. Then you have your human resource management course. That one's taught by Dr. Ed Martin. Dr. Martin is a full-time faculty member in our department. He is also a former department chair, former graduate advisor, former faculty council member. He's been here as long as I have. In fact, I think he's been here a year longer. He might be in year 20. But his specialty is human resource management. Then you have organization theory, which you'll have the misfortune of having me for, so I apologize for that. It's kind of buried a little bit later on in your program, and so you probably won't have your organization theory class until next February, I think. So you won't have me as an instructor for a year, so you're welcome. But the org theory class, we look at theories of organizations, how you structure organizations, how you manage organizational behavior. We go through the organization theory literature and all that good stuff. Another core course is 670 Policy Analysis. That's with Dr. Melissa Matthews. Policy analysis, you will look at the evaluation, well, the formulation, the implementation, the evaluation of public policies. You'll talk about stakeholders, how you identify stakeholders, how you gauge the vested interests of stakeholders. You will create a policy analysis design. Dr. Matthews does a wonderful job in that course. Then you have your research methods course, PPA 696. Now, this is a little bit of false advertising, admittedly, on our part. We call the class research methods. It's really program evaluation. So you might ask the question, why is it not called program evaluation? Because we changed the name of the course, we have to go through the curriculum process. And I won't bore you with the curriculum process, but it would take about 2 years just to change the name of the course. So we've kept it as research methods, but we teach it more as program evaluation. So what you'll do in that class is you will learn how to evaluate public programs from an empirically sound basis. You'll put together an evaluation design for a program of your choice. A lot of people, if you're working full-time in the public sector, a lot of people pick a program that their organization's implementing and will then prepare a design for how to evaluate the program. You don't have to actually collect data in the class. You put together a design for how you would collect data. We don't have you collect data in your 696 class because in order to collect that data, you'd have to get Institutional Review Board approval. It's a 6-week course, probably take you about 6 months to get IRB approval. So the timelines just don't match up all that well. But your 696 class is taught by Dr. Butts, again, another full-time resident faculty member in the program. Then your final 6 units of core courses are comprised of PPA 697 directed research. Now, you're not going to do all 6 units at once because, as you know, in this program, you only do 1 course at a time. That's one of the things I love about this program and why we designed it like that. Because I know most people have full-time jobs, you have family obligations, you have all these other things going on. This allows you to just focus on 1 class at a time. So you'll do 1 section of 697, and then as soon as that section is over, you'll then take the 2nd section of 697. 697 consists of the completion of 5 case studies. A case study in budgeting, 1 in human resources, 1 in org theory, 1 in policy, and 1 in research methods / program evaluation. So you'll be completing 5 case studies. The completion of those 5 case studies and then your final skills self-assessment will comprise the requirements for those 6 units of 697. Your first section of 697 will be taught by Dr. Butts, and your second section will be taught by Dr. Matthews. So it's useful because these are people you already have had in the program, and Dr. Butts writes the research methods case, and Dr. Matthews writes the policy case. And so you'll have instructors who've already written 2 of the cases that you'll be doing, so they'll be experts in those cases because they're the authors of those cases. So in 697, you'll complete those 5 cases. And again, you've got the 6 units to do it. So usually the way the schedule, I don't have the schedule in front of me, usually the way the schedule works out is you'll have 6 weeks for the first section of 697. You may or may not have a week off depending upon the schedule. Then you go into another 6 weeks. So you add the 2 sessions together, you have 12 weeks basically to work on those 5 case studies. We really recommend you try and get through those 5 case studies in those 12 weeks. Now, not everyone does. And we know that life intervenes. And so if you don't get all the cases done, you'll get a grade called an RP, which is a report in progress. That just means you're making successful progress toward completing your cases. But I always recommend to people, do your best to try and get through those 5 cases once your 6 units of 697 are over. But the purpose of 697 is for us to be able to see what you have learned in all your other core courses. And so far, it's worked out very well for us. We've been using case studies now since, I want to say 2002 or 2003. So we've kind of gotten very used to them. And I think students like them a lot better than a comprehensive exam. The way in which the program used to work is we had comprehensive exams. So people would come on your Saturday, you would come to campus, you would sit down in a room, you would get 3 randomly selected questions, and you would sit there for 3 hours answering those questions. Not ideal for a practical program like ours. So no more comprehensive exams. Feel free to cheer. So those are your core courses. Then in addition to those core courses, you have what we call pre-selected electives. I know that sounds strange, but you are a lockstep cohort program, which means everyone comes in together, everyone takes courses together, hopefully everyone graduates together. So we can't have people taking different electives. So everyone takes the same 5 electives, hence the reason why we call them pre-selected electives. Those 5 electives currently, I believe these are the ones for your cohort, are listed on the screen. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny. But there's 570 negotiating dynamics with, again, Dr. Cabrillion, who I've mentioned before. That class is very interactive because obviously it's negotiations. So the Saturday sessions become very important for that class because he likes to break you up. And in the past, what he's done is he's used multiple classrooms. I don't know if he still does this, but he's used multiple classrooms. And he said like labor, negotiate with management. And so it's very interactive in those face-to-face Saturday sessions. What that means is that for 570, those Saturday sessions are imperative. You have to be here for those Saturday sessions. Attendance is required at all the Saturday sessions for all the classes, but this one is really, really, really important that you're there for those Saturday sessions. For our other courses, it's also required to be there for the first and the last Saturday for each course. But if life intervenes and for some reason you're not able to make it to campus on that Saturday, you need to reach out to your instructor in advance. I provide all the faculty teaching in the program with the flexibility to make their own decisions about those Saturday sessions. So an example, when I teach intergovernmental relations, we oftentimes don't use that last Saturday session because we don't need to. We get through all of our information, we do all of our discussions for our articles, and if there's no reason to come to campus on that Saturday, I don't make you come to campus. Some other instructors will make you come to both Saturday sessions. So if you're going to miss a Saturday session, reach out to the instructor. You don't really need to reach out to me because I'm not going to tell the instructor yes or no. The instructor gets to make his or her choice about how imperative it is that you're at those Saturday sessions. Those Saturday sessions are very useful, though, and we've designed the program for a purpose so that you have your bookended sessions. So you get your first Saturday session, which is usually a get-to-know-you type of session, put names and faces together, ask questions about the course, some substantive information, and then your last Saturday session usually is what wraps up the course and make sure that we've covered all of our learning objectives and everyone's gotten what they need to get out of the course material. Another pre-selected elective is 610 Seminar in Urban Affairs. That one's taught by Dr. Martin. We do have a relatively heavy urban focus in our on-campus program because obviously we are located here in Long Beach and in Los Angeles County. 535 Intergovernmental Relations, you'll have that course with me. That course is a graduate seminar, which means it'll be unlike some of the other courses you have in the program. It is all based around discussion. So we don't have a traditional textbook. We read articles in federalism and intergovernmental relations, and students will need to do article critiques of those articles and then lead discussions on those articles as well. So it's very much your kind of, East Coast traditional graduate program, graduate seminar. Then you have 512 Urban Executive Management. This oftentimes consists of case studies and it's taught by Professor David Armijo, who is also a graduate of this program. He has run transportation systems all over the country, MTA, he ran the BART system, he ran the Hillsborough system down in Tampa, Florida. Wealth of experience in the public sector, especially in transportation systems. We'll present to you different cases and different issues and how you respond to those issues as an urban leader. And then your final course as of now in the program is 540 Grant Administration. That one will either be taught by Professor Berg, who's teaching your 500 course, or perhaps Dr. Matthews, depending upon instructor availability. So as of right now, those are the 5 pre-selected electives that we have in the program. One thing that I do like to do, and I'm going to make sure I do it with this cohort, is after we get going in the program, after you got a couple of courses under your belt, I'm going to send you out a Qualtrics survey. And I will list for you all the electives that are possible that we can offer in the program. And I'll solicit your feedback in terms of which electives you think would be most useful for you. And if there is a consensus, a critical mass of members of the cohort who say, no, I think that this course, this elective would be better for us, then I will do everything I can to try and substitute that class in for one of your currently selected electives. So we try and tailor it to your needs as much as we possibly can, but everyone's going to be taking these same five elective courses. So that's the program. As you know, the way we deliver the program now is that we use a hybrid blended modality, which means we combine 3 different modalities together. So you have your on-campus face-to-face sessions on the first and the last Saturday for each course. Those are scheduled from 9 to 12. Now your first one for 500, as Professor Berg said, will start at 10 because you're going to the library, meeting in the library. We have a discipline librarian or PPA, and that's Kelly Janisek. And she leads those library sessions and does a really great job with it. I always tell my on-campus students in 500 that that session by Kelly is usually the most useful session you're probably going to have, because it really introduces you to how to do research in the discipline of public policy administration, all the different resources that are available to you. The nice thing about Kelly is that she's been doing this for a very long time, and she's also very responsive. She's one of the more responsive librarians you're going to get over there. And so if there's a resource the library doesn't have and it's something that you need and you think would work well for you, they can get it. And if it's something you think we should have permanently in the library, tell me. And I'll go to Kelly and I'll tell Kelly and she'll go purchase it. So it's a really good relationship we've worked out with Kelly. But that's your first session of 500 will begin at 10 o'clock over in the library. All your other Saturday sessions will be scheduled to begin at 9 o'clock and go till, we'll say, noonish. Not all of them go to noon, maybe 9 to 11, 9 to 11:30. And as we said, most of your Saturday sessions will be over in CPI building, or if we're not lucky, over in the SBA building. If we get lucky, over in CPI. Matt and CPI has been doing a really nice job of getting us scheduled over there, and you will love the classrooms over there. Then your weekly sessions are conducted via Zoom. And you saw the video on Zoom, so you kind of have an idea. Like I told you, you'll click on the link that's provided for you in the Beachboard Classroom. You will then participate in the Zoom session. When you participate in the Zoom session, when you log in and your instructor starts a session, as the video showed you, you have the opportunity to participate through audio as well as visual. So as you'll see at the top of the screen there, this is your audio button. And so when you first go into the session, you will test your microphone and make sure it's working well. Most students like to have a headset. In the past, we used to require this. We don't require it anymore, but a headset with a microphone. The nice thing about having a headset with a microphone is you don't get a lot of reverb. You don't get a lot of feedback. So most people use that headset with a microphone. So you would test out, make sure that you can hear everything well when you run your check, make sure that your microphone is working. And again, you would do that through your sound check. And so it's right here with the mute button. You can see there's an arrow. When you click on the arrow, you've got the drop down where you can choose what type of input source you want to use. You can test your speaker and your microphone and all that good stuff. A lot of students ask, well, am I able to attend a Zoom session from a tablet or from my phone? And yes, you can. Zoom allows for that. I've had students who have attended sessions while they're in the car driving. I don't recommend that. I don't think that's a great idea, but technically you can do that as well. You can attend from anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection and access to a computer or a smart device that supports Zoom. So one way to participate in the sessions is using your microphone. So when you're in the session and you want to, the instructor is asking a question, you want to answer that question, you click on your microphone button, you unmute yourself, and you can then participate freely. Whenever you are done talking, you click the button and you mute yourself again. We do request that students, when you're not talking, you go on mute so we don't get a whole lot of background noise, but it's as easy as that to participate with your microphone. You can also use video if you would like. And so if you've got a webcam hooked up, then your picture will appear. You see where it says iPad over here? There'll be a whole long list of everybody who's in the session. And if your camera is on, your picture will show up there. If you don't want to have video and you don't want to have your face on the session, then you can always turn your video off. And again, you just do it right at the stop video button. We don't require you to have your video on. That's completely up to you. Typically, what I oftentimes do is when I start the session, I'll have my video on just to wave at you and so you know I'm there and I'm sitting in my office. I usually do all my classes from my office just because I can hook up to a LAN connection instead of wireless. And then I turn my camera off. You're welcome to keep your camera on the whole time. It's completely up to you. If you're using wireless, sometimes if you have your camera on, it might slow some things down for you a little bit. So I know when I'm at home on my internet service, if I've got my camera on, things slow down a little bit. And you never really want that to happen because then you get into the world of what's called buffering. And if you've ever watched a video, you know what buffering is. So if you have a problem with connectivity, then your connection will buffer. And you won't hear the instructor for a couple of seconds. And then when you start hearing the instructor again, they sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks because it catches up. And so it'll be really high pitch and really, really quick and go until it catches up. So you kind of want to avoid that in terms of comprehending the material. But again, the video is there for you if you'd like to use your webcam. When your instructors teach your Zoom courses, they will share their screen. And so that's how we're making these slides available for you to view right now. Is as an instructor, I have shared the screen. And so now it is sharing with everyone, so everyone should be able to see it. Whenever I want to cycle back and forth between slides, I can just pause my share, stop it, and start a new one. So your PowerPoint slides, and all of our instructors for the most part will teach using PowerPoint slides, will appear just like these PowerPoint slides appear. Another way in which you can participate in the Zoom session, if you don't want to use the microphone, because sometimes you have a comment or an observation, but you don't want to like stop the flow of the discussion to chime in, you can use chat. And so if you go over to more, those three little marks there, you click on chat, it'll open up a chat window for you. And then the chat window, you can type in whatever you want. And so you can say, great point, Dr. Powell. Well, you are brilliant. That goes out to the entire class because you can see when you typed it in, it says from me to everyone. So everyone's getting that. If you want to just chat with another member of the class, you can click down here where it says everyone, drop down menu. You can then pick another member of the course, and then your chat will only go to that other member of the class session. However, it's not a perfect world. So whenever you chat with someone else in the course, guess who gets to see it? Your instructor. So your instructor gets to see everything that goes on in web chat. So just word to the wise, you might want to be careful when you're chatting with your friend in the class. So web chat's another way, and most students I have found really prefer kind of web chat for most of what they're doing, so they don't kind of slow down the discussion. Different instructors have different approaches. I tend to allow students in my classes to use whatever approach they want to use. So if you like using the microphone, have at it. If you don't like the microphone, you want to use web chat, that's fine as well. Some other instructors will require you in the first couple class sessions to use the microphone because they want to encourage a lot more discussion. So that's all dependent upon the instructor. But that's Zoom, and so all of your Wednesday sessions will begin at 6 p.m. using Zoom. Again, very easy, point and click, very user-friendly. There is a breakout rooms option that some instructors use. I don't use it a whole lot, but your instructor will sometimes use that for you. There's nothing you have to do. They assign you to a breakout room, and then you're just automatically in there. So what they'll do is they might set up, for this cohort, they might set up, we'll say 8 different breakout rooms, and then they'll have 3 or 4 people in each room, just for some types of discussions, and then reconvene everyone together as a class to go over what you came up with. So that is Zoom, again, used for your Wednesday sessions. Are there any questions on Zoom at this point? It's kind of the type of thing you get into when you use it the first time, it all makes sense, and then it'll just be like, you've been using it your entire life, but. And then in addition to those Wednesday Zoom sessions, we then have these asynchronous beach board sessions. Now, these are sessions where you do not have to be in front of your computer. Most instructors will allow you to do these anytime throughout the week. What I tend to do is we'll have our Zoom session on Wednesday, and then I will ask by the following Monday that you participate in the asynchronous beach board assignment. The asynchronous beach board assignment typically is used through discussion board. So what your instructor will usually do is they will post a prompt in discussion board and then ask that you respond to that prompt in discussion board. That will then constitute this asynchronous beach board session. So the only time you have to physically be someplace, the first and last Saturday here on campus, and then in front of your computer every Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock. Does that make sense? Okay. But this is what allows us to have all of our contact hours. These are accelerated courses. They go by very quickly. They're 6-week courses. We have classes on campus. Some of them are 15 weeks, some are 8 weeks. This is a 6-week. You will cover the same material in this class that you would have covered in a 15-week on-campus class. You will just do it quicker. So it is accelerated. It's not truncated. Just make sure you know that. Okay. Oh, there we go. Matt talked to you about registration, guided you through all that. Again, that's CPI's responsibility. Jenny and I, handle more the academic side. So he walked you through how that process works. The nice thing about the program is that registration is guaranteed for you. You don't have to fight for registration. Our on-campus students have to fight to register in on-campus courses, hopefully figuratively, not literally, but we have over 300 students in our on-campus program, and so classes fill up very quickly. So they are really in a struggle to make sure they get the classes that they want and they need. All of our distance learning courses are reserved just for the cohort. So that's a very nice option. Matt, of course, will enroll you so you don't have to go through the normal enrollment process that the on-campus students have to do. And another nice thing about our program is we waive prerequisites. In our on-campus program, in order to take the budgeting course, you'll have to demonstrate that you have successfully completed a microeconomics undergraduate course. In order to take the research methods course, you'll have to show that you've successfully completed an undergraduate statistics course. We don't have those prerequisites in this program because we can't, because we're a lockstep cohort program. So when budgeting is going to roll around in April, I think it is, everyone will be registered in budgeting, regardless of whether or not you've had a microeconomics course. And we have changed the course. The topics are the same. You'll cover the same material, but we have designed the budgeting course to accommodate people who may not have a microeconomics background. So it's a little different in the DO program. So no prerequisites that you have to worry about. I know I'm going on for a long time. I'll try and wrap it up quickly. At the outset, I said we are a NASPA accredited program. And I said this is very important. Well, why is that important? It's important because NASPA requires that everyone who graduates from a NASPA accredited program must demonstrate 5 universal competencies. And I know we're kind of getting in the weeds on this now, but it's important that you know these competencies going into the program because our entire curriculum is designed around these 5 competencies. So the first competency is that you will have the ability to lead and manage in the public interest. You'll need to be able to participate in and contribute to the policy process. To be able to analyze, synthesize, think critically, solve problems, and make decisions in a complex and dynamic environment. To articulate, apply, and advance a public service perspective, and to communicate and interact productively and in a culturally responsive way with a diverse and changing workforce and society at large. As I said, our entire curriculum, our core curriculum, is designed around these 5 competencies. So in some of the courses, we'll highlight 1 or 2 of those competencies. In other courses, we'll highlight other competencies. But by the time you are done with the program, you will be able to demonstrate competency in those 5 areas because you are graduating from a NASPA accredited program. And it really does make a difference. I mean, I have talked to employers in the past who have said, I want somebody with an MPA from an accredited school. It needs to be NASPA accredited. Typically, hiring officers in agencies who have graduated from NASPA accredited programs want to hire people from NASPA accredited programs. And not every program is NASPA accredited. You have the course schedule there. I won't go through it in painstaking detail, but you have it there for your reference. That is a draft schedule. As I said, when I ask you about electives, if you tell me there's another elective or 2 that you want included, and there's a critical mass of folks that want that, if we can, through staffing, we'll make that change in the schedule. Typically, the way the schedule works is you have 6-week courses. You'll then have a week off and then move into another 6-week course. Now, as you look through the schedule, you'll see that there are some holidays that jump up and bite us here and there. So your Zoom sessions are typically on Wednesdays, but you'll see for a couple of your courses, those Zoom sessions would have to be moved to a Monday. I think there are only 2 occasions for that because there's a holiday that falls on that Wednesday. We can't have Zoom sessions on university holidays. We're not allowed to. But otherwise, 99.9% of your Zoom sessions are on Wednesdays. So 6 weeks, usually a week off, and then another 6-week class. There are some situations in the schedule where you may have 2 weeks off between classes to make it fit, or you may not have a week off. And again, we do that to make it fit the academic calendar. The university, even though we offer 6-week sessions, they will still code our classes as either fall classes, spring classes, or summer classes. So the census date is very important. So we worked really hard, Jenny and I, to make sure that we have scheduled the courses so that they fall in the correct semester for you. But you have that schedule, so you can refer back to that. And if you have any questions, you can always email me any questions you may have. Your final exit requirement, and I know you're looking over 2 years in the future, but it'll be here before you know it, is your student learning portfolio. Again, we no longer do comprehensive exams. We do the case studies and student learning portfolios. Student learning portfolio became the requirement in 2001, so we've been using it for 19 years now. It's meant to be an assessment document so that you can take some of the assessment assignments you've done in the program, put them in the student learning portfolio. You can assess how you've developed in the program. We as a faculty can assess how you've developed in the program, and potential employers can assess what you've learned in the program. It's one thing for you to say, you'll be asking an interview, can you do a revenue forecast? And you say, sure, I can do a revenue forecast. That's easy. It's another thing to actually pull out a revenue forecast that you did as part of your MPA program and say, yeah, I can do it. And not only can I do it, I've done it, and here it is. So the portfolio gives you that tangible documentation of what you've learned in the program. It's a very streamlined document in that it consists of 3 parts. Part 1, the initial skill self-assessment that you're doing in 500 with Professor Berg, that becomes the first part of your student learning portfolio. So when you get that back from Professor Berg, hold on to it. We do everything electronically, but keep an electronic copy of that initial skill self-assessment because you'll need to include it in part 1 of your portfolio before you graduate. Also in part 1, you've got that final skill self-assessment that I talked about in 697, just the redo of the initial one you did in 500. So part 1, initial and final skill self-assessment. Part 2 of the portfolio will consist of what we call the pre and post instructional assignments. So for every one of your core courses, budgeting, HR, org theory, policy, research methods, you should have a pre and post instructional assignment that your instructor assigns to you. Pre-instructional assignment will be assigned within the first week or 2 of the course. The post-instructional assignment will be assigned to be turned in within the last 2 weeks of the course. They're similar assignments. So when I teach budgeting, not that I teach in this program, but typically when I teach budgeting on campus, pre-instructional assignment is go out there and get a city's budget, read the budget, and answer these 8 questions. Then your post-instructional assignment, using that same city budget, answer those same 8 questions. The difference, the pre-instructional assignment, use no material whatsoever except the budget and what you know about budgeting. Don't use any course material, don't go to the library, don't ask budget managers, just use what you know about a budget, answer those 8 questions. On the post-instructional assignment, answer the same 8 questions, using everything that you learned in the program. That then allows me as an instructor to see how you have progressed in these core skills over your 6 weeks in this program in that budgeting course. So each of those courses will have a pre and post instructional assignment. You include those in part 2 of your portfolio. Part 3 of your portfolio will be those 5 case studies you complete in PPA 697. And that's it. That's your portfolio. Nice and easy, very straightforward, 3 parts to it. You submit your proposal, your portfolio through what we call OneDrive, and you don't need to worry about it now, but whenever you go into your account here at Long Beach, the My CSULB account, you will have a chiclet, as they call it. The tech people call them chiclets. You'll have a chiclet there that says OneDrive. Everyone, all students, staff, faculty, everyone has a chiclet for OneDrive. You click on OneDrive, you can upload your portfolio in OneDrive and then share it. Typically, and the on-campus students share it with their 697 instructor. You will share your portfolio with me. Because as director of the program, I approve all the portfolios before you graduate from the program. But again, when we get to 697, we'll talk more about the logistics of how it works. You're starting your courses here in February of 2020, which means that your portfolio will need to be submitted no later than May 1st, 2022. Sounds like a long time in the future. It is not. These 2 years will go by in the blink of an eye, believe it or not. Important policies. Advancement to candidacy. We will all advance to candidacy as a cohort. So I have up here that we'll do it in July 2020. Sound right, Jenny? Okay. So in July 2020, we will all advance together as a cohort. Advancement to candidacy is just a form that you submit to the university which lists all the courses that you have taken and you plan to take to apply to your graduate degree. We like to do it as a cohort so no one gets left behind. So we'll do all that in July of 2020. Then another administrative obstacle, if you will, is petitioning to graduate. So before you can graduate from the university will run a grad check. To get that grad check going, you'll have to apply to graduate. We will again do all that as a cohort, and we'll do that no later than October 15th of 2021. We are a lockstep cohort program, which means that you really need to abide by the schedule. You need to be in all the courses with the rest of your cohort. Sometimes I know life intervenes. If there's something catastrophic that happens and you're not able to take a course in the sequence of your course schedule, you'll need to reach out to me and reach out to Jenny, and please reach out to both of us. Let us know what's going on, and then we can see if maybe we can then get you into that class in a future cohort. We don't like doing that because it's a very difficult thing to do. The university doesn't like when people take classes in other cohorts. So I really recommend do your best to just take all the courses as they are assigned in the program. That will keep you continuous enrollment. That will keep you in a happy place, according to the university. Textbooks. Your instructors will provide you with what textbooks are being used for each class. Usually DL students don't go through the bookstore, and nobody here works for the bookstore, right? Okay, good. They're overpriced. They usually don't do a great job of getting textbooks in on time or the required number of textbooks. If I tell them from an on-campus class, I've got 25 people in the class, they will order 15 books. I don't know why, but they do it. I've been here 19 years, they've done it every semester. So sometimes it is easier and cheaper for you to just get the books yourself, go on Amazon or wherever you need to go and just buy the books. Whether you want to use a digital copy or a hard copy, it's completely up to you and your personal learning preference. Usually it's the most recent edition of the textbook. There are some exceptions to that. For example, when you take organization theory with me, you'll have two textbooks. One is the organization theory text, and the other one is classic articles in organization theory. For that classics book, I allow you to use whatever version you can get your hands on, because you know how publishers are. They will publish new editions, and then they'll jack the price up, and the content will be exactly the same, which is ridiculous. So I let you use older editions of the textbook. Sometimes you can get that classics textbook for like 50 cents, believe it or not. So, but if you're going to use an older edition of the textbook, the instructor doesn't say anything about it, ask the instructor, because sometimes they will not allow that to happen. So, but textbooks, usually it's cheaper and easier just to go online and Google them and get them yourself. Jenny.
Where you can search the textbook and compare prices with different websites.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to purchase, you can also rent the textbook, so that is an option too, because you'll have to inquire with the bookstore directly, but you can rent textbooks on a semester basis as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that rental option is relatively new. The one thing I'll caution you about renting, it probably would make sense for your elective courses. For a core course, if you're renting the textbook, you may, when you get to 697 and do your case, you may want to have that textbook, because that textbook may help you in creating your case study. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's a good option. I also should be nice to the bookstore. You know, they gave us the swag bag and all. So I take back everything I said about the bookstore. They are wonderful and do a great job. I always forget that these sessions are recorded. I need to remember that from now on. So that's some basic information about the program. We have information on the program at our website. Obviously, Jenny and I are also your one-stop shopping if you have questions about the academic side of the house of the program. But that, in a nutshell, is the DLMPA program. Questions about the program, how courses work, anything?
So on the course, on this document, it says Mondays and Wednesdays for the sessions, but it's just Wednesdays.
Just Wednesdays for the live sessions, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and what we've done is to make it, because I'm an old guy.
Mondays, you said.
Well, yeah, a couple of occasions. Yeah, and those are highlighted on there. So like the day before Thanksgiving is a Wednesday. University is closed. So that week we have to move it to a Monday. So, but that's kind of unusual, only a couple. Since I'm an old guy, I forget things. And so what I figured out a few years ago, because I'm real smart, is that even number cohorts have their sessions on Wednesdays. Odd number cohorts have their sessions on Mondays. Who knew? Works out perfectly. So now I know. So you're an even number cohort, so your live sessions are on Wednesdays. Any other questions real quick? I know we're running a little bit long, but one thing I would like to do is I would like to show you, if you haven't seen Beachboard before, how many people have used Beachboard? Okay. So if it's your first time using Beachboard, I kind of want to show you what Beachboard looks like. All of the materials for your class will be housed in Beachboard. So the PowerPoint lectures, the assignments, all of your assignments you submit, you will submit through Beachboard using the Dropbox. Everything like that goes through Beachboard. Your link for your Wednesday sessions will be provided in Beachboard. So what I have up on the screen is my 660 org theory class that I'm going to start teaching in 2 weeks for DL cohort number 19. So it's all built and up there, so I thought it would be a good way to show you what it looks like. So when you go into Beachboard, you click on the class, and just, the class should be available. I don't know if anyone has access yet, but The course should be there. As soon as the instructor makes it available to you, you will see it pop up. You click on the class, and this is kind of what it looks like. I have the forward-facing version as the student version, so this is exactly the way in which it'll look for you. So you'll see arrayed across the top, you'll have all these different menu buttons, depending upon where you want to go in the class. Your link, the way I do it is I post a welcome announcement, and then I put the link right there. So students in my org theory class, when they're ready to attend their Monday sessions, they'll click on that, open up, they'll be in the Zoom session, and away they go. I tend to put all my important information in the content area. Now, this is in the student version, so this is what it will look like for you. Syllabus is in the content. Some instructors will include the syllabus in a welcome announcement. It all depends on the instructor. And then I have PowerPoint slides there for each week of the course. Like I said, the vast majority of our instructors teach from PowerPoints, and so it's a nice little guide to help you see what's going to be covered in that week and to follow along as those lectures go. Dropbox. So this is where you're going to be submitting all your assignments. And so you can see in this org theory class, they have 3 submitted assignments: organizational analysis paper, a final, and presentation. All they need to do is just click on the link, and then when you're ready to submit, you just add your file. You add your file, you hit submit, off it goes. So here's your add file, click add file, find it on your desktop, put it in there, click submit, and you have now submitted your assignment. Obviously, no paper assignments, everything is electronic. Now for those quote-unquote Monday sessions, your asynchronous beach board assignments, those are usually done through discussion board. So if you click on discussions, here are all your discussion board forums. So all you would need to do, so beach board 1 in my class, my 660 class, they have to identify the organization they're going to be using and provide an indication of the primary purpose and major functions of the organization. When they're ready to post their discussion, click on the link, start a new thread, post, hit submit. And you have then participated in your asynchronous beach board session. So that's what we mean by asynchronous beach board sessions, all done through discussion board. Keep track of your grades and the grades function, obviously. I think that's probably about it that you'll need to know for beach board, but that's beach board. Again, very easy to use, very user-friendly. Jenny, anything else that you can think of that I have not in my old age?
No, so I know there were some questions that came around about parking, some of the details about bookstore hours. Again, I'll follow on Monday with all of you with more information. You know, typically parking is like public parking is, you know, is okay on weekends. I know some students like to park, especially when you go into the library on your first day of DMPA20. There isn't a whole lot of general parking there, so you may have to purchase a permit. But again, I'll send you guys the information. We do have semester permits. There are daily permits, and there are also permits you can purchase by the hourly rate as well. You know, so there will be options for you guys. And then any other handouts that I believe I tried to include as much as I could in your welcome packets already, but I know Joanne was going to follow up with our financial aid PowerPoint presentation with me next week. So once I get an electronic copy of that, I'll also send that out to you guys. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, I've included a direct way of, you know, everybody's contact info, you know, again, please email me or any questions. And
yeah, any other questions that occur to you? I know we're over by a few minutes, but you got a free breakfast, so hey, it's not all bad. Okay, as Jenny said, any questions you have, email us. I've left a stack of my cards on your way out if you want to pick up one of my business cards. It's got my phone number and got my email. I will warn you, though, I am horrible with voicemail. I can go a couple of weeks and forget I have it. So best way to contact me, I think Jenny's the same way, is email is the best way to contact us. All right? Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the program.